Hey guys, welcome to our online art classes. My name is Neil Young and I am an administrative assistant here at the Southern Alleghenies Museum of Art in Altoona. Today's art lesson, we're going to be focusing on the artist Keith Haring. So for anyone who might not know, this is Keith Haring. Keith Haring was born on May 4th, 1958 in Reading, Pennsylvania. If you happen to have seen my art lesson from last week on Andy Warhol, you might see a trend with Pennsylvania artists. From an early age, he fell in love with drawing, and he started to learn how to do basic drawings of cartoons inspired by people like Dr. Seuss and Walt Disney. After graduating high school, he studied at the Ivy School of Professional Art in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. While he lived in Pittsburgh, he began to display artwork and had his first solo exhibition. Later that year, he moved to New York City, where he fell in love with the art scene there and found his own unique art style. He began drawing outlines of people, dogs, and other basic characters with chalk in public places throughout the city. This here is one of his most famous pieces. It is a dog playing a DJ setup. His pictures are almost like modern day cave paintings. He did draw some pictures that were just black and white, but he was mostly known for his bright, bold colors and thick black outlines. This here is one of my personal favorites. So, with that being said, for today's lesson, let's draw a picture inspired by Keith Haring. For this project, we're actually going to be using this picture right here as reference and trying to recreate it. So for this project, you can use any art supplies that we have laying around our house, but all you really need is pencil, paper, and something to color your drawing in with. Maybe crayons, markers. I think I might use colored pencils. So let's get started. So within this picture, we see three different figures. We have a heart, and then we have two human-like figures. So let's start out by focusing on the heart. So in the middle of our page, let's just get a big red heart started. All right. And then once we have the heart, we are going to have to focus on the two people within the picture. Let's start out with their heads and work our way around the body from there. So as we can see, both of their heads are at the very bottom of the heart. So let's start off with just two circles. All right, and once we have the head, then let's try to get the torso. So for that, we're just gonna need two lines that come down on the sides of each circle. Now, the bodies are sort of in a weird dancing position right here, but feel free to draw them in any position that you would like. You could have them just standing straight, or dancing, or any movement that you would like. All right, so this is what we have so far. From there, we're gonna start adding some of the arms. Now, the arms we can see go up and sort of support the heart that is floating above them. So let's start out with just some straight lines that come straight off of the body and then work their way up. So there is the start of our first person supporting the heart. Now right now it might be hard to see the figures just with these couple lines, but it'll turn into a person. Let's start with the left figure's arms and begin with the right arm, which goes up and almost touches the other character. Then we're going to start with the left arm. And then we're gonna have something like this. Now, the hands sort of overlap the heart, so feel free to erase some of those lines. And then from there, we're gonna have to focus on the legs. So we can see that both of these characters have different body movements. The legs come together here and the legs are separated. Feel free to do both the same way or different. I think I'm gonna try to just mimic this picture though. So your legs should look something like this. Now this other character, his legs are a little more complex. So pay attention to how this is a straight line right here. So we're gonna start with that. Once we have the straight line, draw one line down to represent the right leg. and then start to draw their feet. So then we will have something that looks like that. Might just make this leg a little bit longer though. That looks a little better. So then we're going to focus on the left leg, which we can see is basically a zigzag right here. So let's begin with that. All right, so now we officially have all three characters drawn. So from there, we are going to see that Keith Haring liked to use a lot of motion lines. These things right here represent motion. So he actually wanted these characters to look like they're dancing and the heart to be swelling. So let's mimic that by drawing some of these lines throughout the outline of this drawing. So then we will have something that looks like this. From here, this is a good point to go in and erase anything that you might not like before we do an outline with another medium. So Keith Haring does not close the bottom of the heads in, so erase a little bit at the bottom of each. So when we're happy with our drawing, let's grab a crayon, pencil, marker, anything you'd like. I think for this project outline, I'm going to just be using a Sharpie. So what do you guys think? Do you think this actually looks like a cave painting? Some people compare his work to that. And then let's start outlining the bodies. can't wait to see if you guys actually drew the characters in these positions or if you chose some other dance move. Alright guys, so then we are going to have an outline that looks something like this. Hey Jess. So as we can see, the only shape within this that has color is the heart. He drew it red. Feel free to draw any color that you would like. What's your favorite color? And I think I'm going to draw mine in a purple. Comment below what you guys are using. Crayons, pencils, markers. All right, so I have the first layer down. I think I'm going to go in and just add some outlines to emphasize the shape. All right. So at that point, I'm sure you guys are pretty close to something like this. It pretty much resembles the original, but these characters here are still white. Keith Haring usually did not color in the figures, but let's do it for this project. Cool thing about art is that you can take inspiration from any artist and pretty much make it your own. So I think I'm going to use a yellow for my left character. Oh, nice, Kylie. What colors are you using for your drawing? Hey, Connie. So now we have 2 of the figures colored in. Oh, okay, blue, green, and maybe purple. Nice. All right, and then for this right figure, I think I'm gonna use a blue. This one here is sky blue. Sorry about that, guys. Once again, I'm just going to do a few outlines around the piece just to give it a little more detail. So at this point, our drawing is going to look something like this. And I think for a nice finishing touch, let's add a few more motion lines, but we've already added black ones, so why don't we go in with another random color and do lines within the black lines. So now our project is going to look like this. Now the finishing step would be to sign your piece. Keith Haring did not sign his artwork because he felt that his style was his signature, but hey, let's sign it. So this is our finished work of art. I can't wait to see what you guys have created, and feel free to post your pictures in our comments or on our page. Our next art lesson is going to be on April 28th, taught by Kylie. Can't wait to see what you guys have created, and thank you.